We all feel it, don't we? That deep pull toward becoming the person we know we can be, the best version of ourselves.
Hmm.
We talk a lot about maximizing potential, finding inner peace. But then there's the problem. You look for a path and, you get a lot of philosophy, but not many actual instructions.
And that's the critical distinction, right? Inspiration is great, but application, that's the hard part. The framework you shared for this deep dive,
Yeah.
from awaken your inner potential, they call it inner elevation.
Right.
And what's so interesting is we're not looking at vague concepts today. This is a toolkit, an 8-step, very structured toolkit designed to bridge that exact gap between knowing and actually doing.
Absolutely. And that's our mission here. We're going to analyze these 8 steps, pull out the insights, and distill it all into a practical framework that you can use immediately. We're really skipping the why and focusing completely on the how. The specific techniques this guide offers to, systematically lift up your mind, your heart, your soul, all through these little micro actions.
Think of it like a technical manual. It's the manual for transforming your daily life. And it's all built on this idea that real sustainable change comes from small, consistent efforts, not these huge, overwhelming leaps.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start right at the beginning. The first 2 steps. They're all about setting a daily foundation. And it kicks off with step 1. Start your day with intention.
Which makes so much sense. The guide is really clear on this. If you wake up and the first thing you do is react to a notification or an email.
Which is what most of us do.
Exactly. You've instantly given away your mental sovereignty for the day. You're starting on the defensive.
Okay, but I think a lot of people, myself included, can confuse an intention with a to-do list. I could write down, my intention is to clear my inbox. That just feels like another chore, not elevation. How does the guide separate those two?
That's a great question, because that confusion is, I think, where this step fails for a lot of people. An intention in this framework is about how you want to be during the day, not what you want to get done.
So it's a quality of presence.
It's a quality of presence. It's a cognitive primer.
Okay.
So the practical application is super simple. Write down one meaningful intention. It could be, I will approach challenges with patience today, or I will really listen when people talk to me.
I see.
And the little reflection tip that goes with it is to ask yourself, how can I bring more positivity and purpose into my day? It's that proactive mental alignment that sets you up.
And once you have that positive approach defined, the energy just sort of flows right into step 2.
Practice gratitude. Now, this is maybe the most common piece of self-help advice out there. So why is it still so essential here?
Because of the immediate emotional shift it forces. It's a pivot, a fundamental pivot from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude is just the fastest way to interrupt your brain's natural negativity bias.
But what if I wake up and I genuinely feel awful? I'm stressed, I'm resentful. I sometimes worry that forcing myself to list things I'm thankful for can feel, I don't know, a little phony, like spiritual bypassing. That's a really common challenge, yeah. And the source addresses it by stressing accessibility over intensity. It's not asking you to write some grand philosophical essay on thankfulness.
Right.
It just asks you to take 3 minutes, just 3, and list 3 specific things you're thankful for today. They can be tiny, a good cup of coffee, that quiet moment before everyone else woke up.
So you're focusing on the micro, not the macro.
Exactly. You're training your brain to look for the good stuff, not just wait for it to show up. And the source highlights this so well with that quote. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. When you feel that, you can approach your day from a place of strength.
That foundation is so crucial. But, life happens. That initial morning clarity gets buried under meetings, tasks, notifications. So how does the framework suggest we maintain that internal structure through the day?
Well, that's the perfect transition. We move from the foundational morning steps into the tools you need for daily mental maintenance. You need these ongoing practices to prevent that cognitive load, that overwhelm. Which brings us to step 3, journaling for clarity.
Right, and this step is all about writing your thoughts down. The guide says this process literally clears mental clutter, which I love, using it to find patterns in your own thinking.
The mechanism behind it is pretty straightforward. It's about reducing that cognitive load. When you have worries or ideas just swirling around in your head, they're eating up your working memory. Writing them down is like telling your brain, hey, this is safely stored now. It frees up mental bandwidth.
But here's my challenge with that. If I just spend 5 minutes writing down everything I'm stressed about, all my complaints, isn't there a risk that I'm just reinforcing a negative story?
It's a valid concern, for sure.
Yeah.
But the framework treats journaling as, first and foremost, a mental dump. You got to empty the container before you can fill it with something else.
Okay.
But the magic isn't just in the dumping, it's in the reflection tip that comes after. You ask yourself, what did I learn about myself today?
That's the key. That closes the feedback loop.
It's the moment you go from just being a passive writer to an active analyst of your own mind. You see the patterns, and then you can take what the source calls focused steps. You're acting from self-knowledge, not just reacting to anxiety.
And to protect that clarity you've just created, you need step 4. Embrace mindful breaks. The expectation today is just continuous output. Pausing can feel like a weakness.
Continuous motion is just
Yeah.
exhausting. Intentional pauses, though, they refresh the mind and the soul. And what's great is the guide is so forgiving here on the time. We're talking 5 minutes.
That's 5 minutes.
5 minutes for some deep breathing, short meditation, whatever works.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of the day.
I've tried this honestly, and half the time I just end up scrolling Twitter for 5 minutes or feeling guilty that I'm not working.
Yeah.
How do you make sure the break is actually mindful and not just, a procrastination window?
It needs structure. This step isn't just about relaxing. It's about intentionally downshifting your nervous system.
Yeah.
The source says to focus completely on the physical and mental feeling. The tip is to just notice how your body and mind feel right after the pause.
I see.
If you're checking your phone, you haven't paused. You've just switched the type of stimulation.
So it's the consistency of the 5 minutes that matters, not the length. You're sort of accumulating calm bit by bit.
That's it, exactly. You're building a muscular resistance to stress. And that accumulated calm really prepares you for the next major shift in the framework.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because now we're shifting from these daily maintenance habits to the deeper structural work, how we align our actions with our beliefs. And that starts with step 5. Align with your spiritual side.
This step is so central to the whole inner elevation idea, and it's placed here for a reason. After you've managed the day-to-day mind, you have to address the need for a deeper meaning. The idea is that connecting with something bigger than yourself, it grounds you. It brings this incredible inner strength.
The phrase spiritual side can sound, a bit vague or even intimidating for some people. What does the guide recommend for practical application? How do you make that concept concrete?
Yeah, and the application is intentionally broad, which I think is smart. It's inclusive. It suggests setting aside time for prayer, for reflection, for reading guidance that gives you meaning and context. It's about consciously nourishing your soul.
So it's not necessarily about formal religion.
Not at all. It could be about connecting to your purpose or a sense of connection to nature or even just a sense of awe.
I see why it's step 5 now. It provides the why that supports the next 2 steps. If I don't feel purposeful, why would I even bother setting goals?
Precisely. This spiritual alignment strengthens your inner resilience. So when you hit a failure in step 6, and you will, that deeper sense of purpose from step 5 keeps you from just collapsing. The reflection question here is so powerful. How can I bring more purpose and connection into my actions today?
Love that. Okay, so with that inner foundation set, we can finally tackle the external world, but we do it strategically with step 6. Set small, achievable goals. This feels like the antidote to just staring at a massive, overwhelming ambition and doing nothing.
It is. The guide really hammers this point. Big growth comes from consistent small steps, not one giant leap. The method is to break your huge goals into tiny daily tasks, things you can do in 15 or 30 minutes.
Right.
Goals to write a book. Your small goal for today is write 1 paragraph or outline 1 small section.
But how small is too small? I mean, shouldn't we be ambitious?
Ambition is the destination, but achievability is the engine. A goal is only too small if it doesn't build your confidence. And the key technique here is to celebrate those small wins. Every time you check off a micro step, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. It reinforces that positive loop.
So we're not just getting tasks done, we're actively building confidence in our own ability to follow through. That feeling of accomplishment is literally the fuel for the next step.
Every single small step is, as the source puts it, a building block toward the life you dream of. You're training your brain to see that effort equals reward. It makes the whole thing feel less like a slog and more like a series of wins.
And that momentum brings us right to the ultimate mental tool, which is step 7. Cultivate a positive mindset. Your mindset doesn't just color your mood, it literally shapes how you interpret failure and how you interact with everything.
Absolutely. The guide frames this as mental editing or, re-scripting your internal dialogue. The practical advice is all about actively replacing those sneaky limiting narratives we all have.
Like replacing, I always fail at this, with something like, I'm capable of growth and peace. But how do we stop that first automatic negative thought from even popping up?
See, that's the thing. You don't stop it. You greet it, and then you redirect it. The guide encourages you to ask a critical question. Are you just passively observing your thoughts, or are you actively managing them? And the reflection tip here is to consciously notice how your thoughts affect your physical reactions and then your actions.
So it all connects. You use the self-knowledge you got from journaling in step 3 to fuel the redirection technique in step 7. It's about becoming an active editor of your own story, transforming obstacles from dead ends into, well, opportunities.
It gives you the psychological buoyancy you need to keep going when those step 6 goals inevitably hit a snag.
Okay, so we've built the morning foundation, we've done our daily mental hygiene, we've developed resilience through alignment and goal setting. Now we get to step 8, which feels like the critical bookend to the whole framework. Reflect and plan.
This is the essential reset button, the administrative close to your day. Ending your evening with intentional reflection means you actually extract the lessons from the last 24 hours. You don't just repeat unexamined patterns tomorrow.
It seems like a powerful anxiety buffer too, right? If you review and plan, you're not letting those loose ends just hang over you and ruin your sleep.
Precisely. And the practical application is so simple. Spend a few minutes at night reviewing 3 things: your wins, the lessons you learned, especially from failures, and your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. You're basically preparing your subconscious to start working on solutions while you sleep.
And what's the final check-in question we should be asking ourselves?
The ultimate reflection tip is to ask, what steps did I take today to nurture my growth and peace? By consciously acknowledging your positive actions, you reinforce them. This evening ritual is what makes the growth cumulative. It makes sure each day is a step higher on your journey.
This has been an incredibly structured and useful analysis. Let's do a quick recap of those 8 actionable steps, this powerful toolkit for inner elevation for everyone listening. Number 1, start your day with intention.
Number 2, practice gratitude.
Number 3, journaling for clarity, using writing to reduce that cognitive load.
Number 4, embrace mindful breaks, those intentional 5-minute pauses to reset your nervous system.
Number 5, align with your spiritual side to ground your purpose.
Number 6, set small, achievable goals, breaking massive tasks into microactions.
Number 7, cultivate a positive mindset, actively editing your internal story.
And finally, number 8, reflect and plan, using the evening to learn and reset for tomorrow.
Each of these steps, when you do them consistently, is a surprisingly technical tool. They're designed to uplift your mind, nurture your heart, and grow your soul. The central message here is so clear. Growth is a journey. And while the steps are small, consistency is the colossal difference maker.
We've broken down a really detailed framework, but I think the beauty of it is that focus on small beginnings. You don't need to do a total life overhaul tomorrow.
Yeah.
The real challenge is just finding your entry point.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed by 8 new habits, we'd encourage you to focus on just one. Pick one step that requires almost no time commitment and just start there. Start transforming your day right now.
Yeah, pick the low-hanging fruit. Maybe it's that 3-minute gratitude list before you even look at your email. Or maybe it's setting that one single meaningful intention the second you open your eyes. Just take that one action today.
Use these tools to enable yourself to rise, shine, and flourish from within. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into awakening your inner potential.